Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your girl Amanda Rochelle. Happy Friday. I am waiting for Jameel Patterson to come on the line right now from Black Spending Matters. I hope everyone has had an awesome day. Today has just been kind of crazy for me, but I'm winding down, so we are almost done with this day. Being an entrepreneur, it just never stops. It's always something going on. So, um, I am super, super just excited about everything that's going on right now. We had a Facebook Live last night with author Tamika Griffin, and we talked about quite a few different things about holiday retail season, promoting your products, all that good stuff. So, right now, hey, Alonzo, what's going on? Hey, Fredro, what's going on? Hey, John John. So right now I'm just waiting on Jameel Patterson to come on the line, and we will be doing a broadcast regarding Black Spending Matters. So I do see Jameel right here. And Jameel, if you want to just invite yourself, let me see if I can add you on right now. Let's see. Okay, I just invited Jameel to come on with us right now so we can get this cast going on. And Jamil, he is out of the Bay Area. He does a show called Black Spending Matters. Um, the group, actually, everyone should join the group if you want to
Here
go in.
we go.
Hey, Jamil.
Hey.
Oh my God. Today has been a crazy long day. What's
Yes, it
going
has.
Yes, yes. Now, I know you told me to join you on Skype, which I was trying to do. Should I call you back on Skype too?
Uh, we might be able to work something out. Okay.
Okay, okay.
No, it's kind of working out right now.
Okay, this works for me. Great.
Yeah, I'm actually you know what? Yeah, I'm actually recording this at the same time.
Okay.
I might do this Facebook Live thing again.
You
It's
should.
working
You
out.
need to. You need to get on Facebook Live with all of us on here.
Well, I actually been doing Facebook Lives, but by myself,
Mhm.
but I've never done it on an interview
Okay.
before.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. I love doing the interviews on Facebook Live.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me get it back on track.
Okay. And I was
All
just
right,
letting
there we
everybody
go.
know. Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm
Hey, what's
ready.
up, Shelly? Right. So, hey, yeah, I see. I got some followers on here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. All right, so let's get right into it. So, what is that?
What is what?
A social media maven. What is that?
Oh, wow. Okay. Social media, well, actually, Maven is someone that's a teacher that teaches you, basically about concepts or different strategies that you may not know about. So that's what a Maven is. And so, social media Maven, basically, just explaining that a little bit, is someone who's very diverse in social media with the concepts, with tactics, with strategies. That kind of thing. You definitely have to stay educated upon social media because it's consistently changing, so you know your stuff, and you helping people out and people coming to you. Um, Social media maven.
So like, is that gender based? Maven, is it Maverick for a man? Maven for a woman?
See, he got all technical on me. I'm gonna have to look that one up, but that does seem about right. That does seem about right. I would
I don't
say
think I
so.
would call myself a social media maven.
Gender specific. Okay, I'll take it though.
Yeah, so bear with me a little bit because I'm dealing with the phone and the computer, so I'm balancing it
Okay.
all. I'm hearing two conversations at once.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
a little
all hard
delay.
conversation too. So
Okay.
tell us, how does your journey begin as an entrepreneur?
Wow. So I was an artist for quite a while in the Bay Area. I was a singer. I was a chick that, hip hop artists would call and I do your background, stuff like that. And so what I started noticing after getting hired by a couple of distribution companies to promote music in the Bay Area was that there were all these great artists, but they didn't have a lot of great marketing. Maybe the flyers weren't great, or maybe they were not promoting in different areas of the city. They had no, presence as far as press releases, bios, things like that. My
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how my journey started.
Well, there's a lot of people that get into the entertainment field without understanding the business of it.
Mm-hmm.
How do
True.
you feel about that?
Well, music is a business, entertainment is a business, and that's first off. So if you don't understand that concept and you're just going off of talent, I definitely would say, press restart because 90% of it is about marketing. The other 10% is about talent. So if you don't have a strategic marketing plan together and you're just throwing your music out there, then basically, you're planning to fail. So it definitely is about marketing. You'll see, Beyonce, Chris Brown, their billboards. You'll see stories about them, reviews about them before, their project is released, or you'll see like some drama or something going on with them. And that'll just hype up their release. So artists should do the same thing, follow those same kind of tactics and plan out what they're doing before they release their project. And that'll just hype up their release. So artists should do
Right,
the same
right. I
thing.
mean, even going back to like NWA or so many different groups, you see they start off as great talents, they make a lot of money, then somewhere down the line they fall out because of the business,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
business isn't established.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say one of the areas that I see artists missing out on, and where you have groups like NWA, even with Lauryn Hill, you'll see where artists and producers were all in the same studio at one time and they made this great song because everybody was in that moment. And then when it comes down to distributing the, royalties or money, people were like, well, I'm in the studio. I was there with you and I helped on the hook, or I helped on that track and I added the drums, but they didn't have their paperwork in order, like publishing, or they weren't put on what's called a split sheet. So if you're not on someone's split sheet, they have no idea that you were even, a part of the track. So a lot of people don't follow up on the business. Yeah.
Right. Right. You see, the interesting thing about it when it comes to like the black community, we've been involved in the music industry, I would probably say close to 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going
Mm-hmm.
back to like the 30s and stuff.
Right.
Um, would you recommend that the black community take on entertainment business or
Oh
go in that
yeah.
direction?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Definitely.
usually when we go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Oh yeah. Because usually, when we talk about education in the black community, we only talk about mathematics and general things. But I think music business and entertainment education should be a direction that we move in.
Mm-hmm. And those same concepts you were talking about, in mathematics, music is incorporated with that. With writing a score, you have to know your count, your 4/8 count, your hooks, your bars, 32 bars, verse, a hook may be 8 bars. So different things like that. You want to, that is still incorporating mathematics, writing lyrics, having a strategy like with bios, different things like that. That's incorporating English. So yeah, those tactics and skills are still involved in the music industry. And so we should be well versed in different things like that. And we should have our own entertainment companies and record labels too.
Right. So, how long ago did you start on your entrepreneurial journey?
Woo! Oh my goodness. Do I? Okay.
I'm not asking your age.
That's okay. 'Cause I'm for my age. Okay.
You look like you're about 17.
I take it. I take it. 17 times something else, and I'll take that. But I started back in 1996. That's when I started. So I'm on my fourth business now. Two of my businesses have dealt with entertainment and music, and the other two, one was fashion, and then the other one has been social media marketing with entrepreneurs and businesses.
Right. Interesting thing. So like you also relocated from the Bay Area because you grew up in the Bay Area, right? San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and you relocated to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
What made you go to Detroit, especially with Detroit kind of having the tag of being downtrodden? Detroit is all bad. They talk about Detroit like a third world country.
Well, it's true. I mean, you will see Detroit, much like Oakland. They call them, sister cities. Where when you think about Oakland, you can also think about Detroit in the same way. The media violence is definitely hype. The positive aspects of the community are not highlighted. But for me, being in Detroit, I had a couple of friends here, but I came here mainly because of Wayne State University. I have a great journalism program. I was finishing up my degree here, and then I wound up working in marketing at a science museum here for some years. But I love Detroit, much like the Bay Area. What the Bay Area was at one time, the culture. Here, you'll see a lot of people putting on their own events, their own shows. You'll see entrepreneurs just putting out their own products, which I love. And to me, that's a dying art with people actually initiating different events. Next week, you and I, we could be having an event downtown, or you'll have like 10 people that that are entrepreneurs that are vending at the event as well. So, and then also partnering with different, radio stations like here with WRJR and different, like KPOO back home in San Francisco. So just aligning those different people, photographers, media, it's very easy to do here. And I think that, a lot of times we could take that for granted. You go somewhere else like LA, New York, you got a lot of red tape just to get into a venue, to get a photographer, to get, news or press there. So it definitely is an advantage here. And I always encourage people to do business with others in Detroit.
Right. Detroit is a chocolate city.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But there's also there's another like rule of thumb as far as where there's disaster, there's opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's opportunity to build.
Mm-hmm.
And just like how you brought up Los Angeles is already going on. But Detroit, from what I'm hearing also, is that they're building up, they're buying properties for cheap too as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that Detroit is a super fun site.
Right, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I
Right,
think
right.
here in Detroit, they are also starting to have a lot of boutique companies, agencies coming here. And of course, with the boutique companies, you'll have some that, with outrageous prices, as well as some that try to, fit within the community. One of the things I have seen that happen in San Francisco and Oakland, as well as here, is that a lot of businesses may come and they'll buy a property and open something here, but they don't do their research. They don't know the demographic, who their customers are, what the salaries of people are that live here, who can afford what. So you definitely see that, imbalance there too as well.
Right. And that brings another question to mind. Like, how important is it to study the city in terms of, or how important is the city, knowing the city that you want to set up your business in?
Oh, it's extremely important. When I came here, to be honest with you, I had no idea that there was such a big jazz market here, as well as poetry. I mean, poetry, spoken word, some people want to call it, is huge here. And so, knowing that, being an entrepreneur, you can kind of go in and see where your skills fit in, what services you can offer people. For instance, the Bay Area, it was easy for me to offer a lot of my services to rappers because that was what I mainly work with. I didn't work with that many jazz artists. But when I moved here, one of my first clients here was a jazz artist, Mike Mumford. And so I had to, change my strategy of, get to know more about the jazz artists here in the industry and, that kind of thing. So, and I haven't dealt with as many rappers here. So yeah, you definitely need to know your demographic and what you're doing and how you can, assist your demographic. If you're trying to take your services from one target market and apply them to something else, it may not work. So you have to do your homework.
Right. So as far as for African Americans, what are some of the differences between working? I mean, having a business in Detroit and having a business in the Bay Area.
Ooh, that's a great question. Kudos to you, my brother, for that
My other
question.
one's really great.
Kudos. You did your homework. I love it. Wow. Okay, so definitely the taxes, business registration. I got a letter the other day telling me if I wanted to keep my business registered in San Francisco, it's going to be $1,900. So starting a business, keeping that afloat, just the marketing and promotion there, you definitely have to have a budget. It's not even a what if. You need to be, definitely immersed in the tech industry. When I was there, I was going to Wix sessions a lot, Twitter, Facebook, just trying to be in everything that I possibly could be to soak in a lot of that knowledge. And I didn't, of course, see a lot of my people there. But at the same time, I didn't see that as a negative. I saw it as a positive and an advantage for myself because I said I can take these skills back and share them with my community and my clients. And so in Detroit, it's different. It's very cheap to start a business here, $25. And you can also start a nonprofit here for $50. So just being able to do
Wow.
things, yeah, with a smaller budget. And if you learn to save and advertise here, your dollars definitely go a longer way.
All right. So contrary to popular belief, there's actually money in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take it one step further. There's always been money in the Black community. We'll get our hair done. We'll buy some, people buy J's or shoes or whatever. They'll, get their nails done, and everybody goes get the haircut. Gets trimmed up. So that's money. That's revenue. And so you have a huge industry here. Again, that's the beauty industry. A natural hair, weaves, all types of stuff. Different types of eyebrow techniques. So there's definitely money here in Detroit. Like again, you just still have to be strategic in what you're applying. You need to get to know your target market before you provide a service. And I would say too, find out what services aren't being offered where you live or where you go to, and that's where you can find your specialty in that city.
Always try to find a solution or find a problem and create the solution towards it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking on money being in the Black community, we spend $1.1 trillion in America. How do you feel about our spending habits?
Ooh, our spending habits are terrible. I would just say that. But I think that can be changed, just because I think a lot of times we do emotional spending, that, catchphrase of I worked so hard, I deserve it. You do deserve it, but you don't deserve it every other day. Sometimes, maybe on a Friday or a weekend, but to use that as a crutch to just spend money. And I don't think we really think about legacy. I definitely can say, back in our history and our heritage, people, they taught each other how to farm, how to crop, how to sew, how to cook, how to, be humble, bite their tongue, do whatever they had to do to get to the next level to support their family. But to me, it seems like since we are in the United States or have been, that it's more on an individual basis, and we haven't learned that cohesiveness like we had before. And I think that also kind of it doesn't help us, financially, because we don't have a lot of the older generation or people who are doing good financially teach the next person how to save their money, how to budget, how to get good credit, how to invest in the stock market. Right now, you put your money in a savings account or money market, your return investment is going to be like 1%, and that's nothing. Will they share it with other people? So I think that aspect could be turned around if we share knowledge with each other.
Right, all right, because we don't know about things like tax liens and even the new cryptocurrency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also it's said that the family unit should be treated like a business.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, right. So tell us, how many different clients have you worked with?
Throughout the years.
Yeah, that's wow. A big list, huh?
I worked with a couple hundred clients throughout the years. And I can say, my client list has been diverse from artists to visual artists. I had one client a couple years ago. His paintings have been in the Social Network movie, Avengers 1 and 2, Iron Man. I work with
Iron
such
Man.
Iron Man, you'll see his paintings right in the backdrop, and that's all commerce. A lot of people don't think about, having their paintings or graphic artwork and set design on these films and stuff. I work with people who have done, I did some licensing for MTV for an artist out of Detroit. I work with Equipto and Mike Marshall from the Bay Area working on some of their
See,
press
crypto.
and Mike Marshall's GoFundMe. So I work with and then I was also hired by the city of San Francisco for a program called Enterprising Women, where we taught African American women how to just start planning for marketing and strategy. So my client range is pretty diverse, from authors to artists to nonprofits and businesses.
Why did you choose your field?
You and these questions, I love them. I love them. Well, I started out as a writer. I had my first piece published when I was about 12 years old in the San Francisco Chronicle. And from there, writing gave me freedom and gave me a voice that I didn't know that I had. And so, sharing your voice and then seeing that somebody else can relate to it, that really encouraged and inspired me. So from there, I went on to journalism, and then I found out, about marketing being incorporated with journalism. I'm a self-taught person, when it comes to marketing. Everything I've done throughout the years has been hands-on. So yeah, that, like I said, it went from poetry to short stories to journalism to marketing and then to social media. So, and I plan on doing some other things for 2018. So it's a journey, but it's all an evolution.
Evolution. Right. So it went from talent to business.
Talent to business, and then I started working with talent, and then now I'm teaching them how to do business. So it definitely intertwines with each other.
So you kind of turned into a Jedi Knight.
Well, you know what,
You
Sue?
became other people's sensei.
You know what? It's a blessing. It's a blessing for people to call me and say, I saw you online, or I saw you on a Facebook Live, or I saw you on LinkedIn, and then they want to spend their money with you. It's a blessing to be able to do that. So I feel like, when someone tells you be good at one thing, I definitely have to debunk that myth, because we are a talented people. It's people that can cut hair, cook, clean, write, take care of kids, do clothes, detail cars. I mean, I don't feel like, I feel like, we're good at more than one thing. And so when you have diversity in your skills and talents, no matter how small or big they may be, use those to extend your money trees and your different avenues to resources and income. So if you're a barber in the Black community and you got a job, a 9 to 5 at UPS, take that barber money and put it in a stock account, put it in Spotify.
Right.
Spotify is going public. Look at some of these companies that are about to go public and start investing Bitcoins, different things like that.
Speak to some of that though. Speak to some of these companies that's going public.
Well, right now I know about Spotify. I've just been doing some research. I looked at Stash app. I want to try the Stash app. I've heard a couple people that have been using that. I think it's really important to start. So with the Stash app, the concept behind that is it takes your extra change, your money, and it saves it and invests it in stock for like as low as $5. You can even go online and e-trade, different companies like that, where you're your own stock person. And I've just challenged people, to start doing it. Christmas is coming up. Instead of asking for, that new pair of shoes or whatever you want, invest that in stock. Ask somebody to buy you a share in some stock. Like we have to start, passing this stuff on. There's Disney stock, there's Nike stock. You can buy a pair of shoes in Nike or Reebok or Adidas, get a share of stock, so buy one, get one, and I think we have to start having that concept, because if not, what happens is, all our money is gone, it's wasted, and then we have to work again twice as hard to recoup that money. And I don't think life is meant for us to work as hard. I think it's meant for us to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I mean, our ancestors have worked hard enough and for free, right? But there's also
Exactly.
Robinhood app too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
I've invested in Robinhood app, and that's penny stocks. They have a lot of penny
Mm-hmm.
stocks in
Right.
Robinhood app. But what's your take on the new cryptocurrency? like with the
I think it's
Bitcoins, and I think they got one called Line Coin.
mm-hmm. With Bitcoins, that young man that had his family buy those, Bitcoins for him some years ago, and now he's a millionaire. I mean, stories like that are extraordinary. I've told somebody, you can go online and Google Bitcoin ATMs. Those are starting to pop up in different places. So I think, like I said, if we can spend money in different avenues, like on the way we look or dress, or what you driving, or even in your college education, start investing in some of these different concepts like Bitcoins. Get a group of people together that you trust, your family, your group of friends. Put some money together and invest in Bitcoins, because that way maybe we won't have these school loans and stuff. You get a group of friends, you start college together, invest in some stock in 4 years, maybe everybody's college loan is paid off. So we have to start
What?
thinking strategically like that.
Right. Wasn't those coins like worth like $5 at one time or something?
They actually have a Bitcoin, it's a calculator, and you can go back and look back in like 99, 2000, and you'll see like it was like $5, $20, and there was no action. And then it just started going
You
up.
got
I
me
mean,
ready to cry. Oh, because one coin is worth 6,500 today.
I know. But it did drop the other day somewhat. So I mean, that's why we just have to pay attention to the stock market when things start to drop. I think Sprint and T-Mobile are supposed to be merging soon. So and T-Mobile stock is definitely more than Sprint's, but buy some Sprint stock. See what happens. Sit on it. Sometimes we have to do these things to sit on it. I tell people look at different things like toilet tissue. We always gonna need toilet tissue. Soap. We'll always need stuff like that. Even though those are smaller items, Charmin is still around. All these different companies. So I just say we need to start investing.
You seem to be like an economic tiger. For real, you just got it all lined up like an assassin. It's just, but like a lot of times, people say we don't think big enough, right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't think small enough. We overlook the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
the little things add up when it comes to business.
It's true. Like for instance, I'll give you a good example. Where most artists they're looking at, oh, I want to sell out a venue, or someone is looking at, I want to sell 1,000,000 books. Do you have a bio? One of my, quickest ways that I started to generate income when I first started was I wrote bios for people. And I started at charging 25 to 50 to 100, and so I was able to start that. And then I started doing press releases. So sometimes it doesn't have to be a lot of things to generate some income. It can just be one thing that you start doing for people.
As far as like monetizing your talent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whatever talent that is.
Whatever
And
talent that is.
as far as like monetizing your talent, yeah. Somebody's coming. Okay. All right. Give me a second because we still talking though. But I'm about to end the studio session. But we can still keep on the discussion if you want.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, this is pretty good right here. We got to do it again too. And
Oh yeah, I know. I know. Our
blocked me
schedule
from
today
live.
is kind of crazy, huh?
I said, Facebook had blocked me from going live, so that kind of gave us some technical difficulties, but we
Oh, well, they
worked
ain't
it
stop
out.
you though. You still on here. You got a network. You still on here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. So this is a great discussion. How you doing, Mr. Walker? Pretty good. Yeah, I like to come back on your show with you. Hey, say something to the people. It's Charlie Walker right here.
Hey, Mr. Walker, how you doing?
Hey, he told me, he said, I made $5 million in 6 months. Didn't you?
I see that tie. That tie was the first thing I saw. I said, "Oh, that's a
He said,
businessman."
no, he corrected me. He said he made $5 million in 25 days.
Oh, you need to get Mr. Walker on a Facebook Live.
No, he got his own show. I mean, but we definitely can work it out. I don't want to mess up his agenda, what he got going today. But it'll definitely be fun. But the right guy walked in the building. It definitely
That's what
applies.
we're talking about. Right, for sure.
Right,
For sure.
right. So, speaking of arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like arts is a direction that the black community needs to go in, because we're extremely talented in arts, and we just don't monetize it enough. And as far as a directional standpoint, we don't really move in that direction. You know, because half of everybody that I know were either actors, storytellers, comedians. Could you speak to that? Because you're an artist yourself.
Definitely. You know, with that, I would definitely say ownership is key. You know, owning, whether it's owning your music, owning your lyrics, being an engineer, owning your studio, owning your, you know, music instruments. A lot of times artists can't do what they need to do because they don't have their instruments. They don't have a keyboard. They have to go to someone else. Just being as independent as possible. You know, being a director. You know, getting into some of these fields that are behind the camera, directing, editing. You know, colorists in the movie industry, they can make up to $10,000 a month, you know. So a lot of people don't think about occupations like that. So I would definitely, you know, encourage people to start looking at those behind the scenes types of occupations in the arts, because that's where you become powerful. And you know, like you see with Issa Rae and different people like that, they're able to open the doors for Black writers and shows, and create more content.
Right. And then, like, I like how you put it, like occupations in the arts, because a lot of people think, you know, as far as us in entertainment, they only think it's singing and rapping. But there's so many different occupations in entertainment.
That's
There's like
right.
over 100 occupations that you could, you know, patch yourself into.
Right. Definitely.
Right.
And it's, I mean, and the same thing with that too goes to speak like for costume design, set design, you know, makeup artists, there's so many people. You go on Twitter, you'll find traveling barbers, you know, people like that, traveling makeup artists. There was an artist I heard about here in Detroit. She's a makeup artist, but on the weekends, every other weekend, she goes to New York. She makes her money there. She doesn't have to work for anyone. So you can also, you know, because a lot of times, for most of the past few years, I have been flying between San Francisco and Detroit, and people were like, "How do you do that?" So you know, being a boss, you supply your skills to different cities, and so that way you'll be able to fly out and earn money, and also have a vacation at the same time, and then you'll also be able to fly back to where you were and still have a place to live. Another reason why I chose to live in Detroit, because for me it was more affordable, but allowing myself to be able to still work in California and have clients in different cities, it does allow me to say, you know, when I'm able to, I can go take a trip back home and do business there too as well. And also setting up, you know, a lot of these business relationships in advance, like through sites like LinkedIn, you know, reaching out to people. Another thing I would encourage people to do is start looking through social media, you know, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and start just friending people who are in the industries that you want to be in or that you're in, and start expanding your circle. You know, you need a director, friend directors, you need writers, friend writers, bloggers, you know, all of that stuff. It's all about relationships too. If you don't have money, the next best thing to do is build relationships, because that's going to open so many doors for you.
Right, because your net worth is your net worth.
Net worth. That's right. And it's so true. It's so true. Yep. Very true.
Right, so tell us, you being a social media maven, tell us, how has the internet or social media changed the game as far as
Wow.
entrepreneurship?
Well, I could definitely say for myself, I was definitely segmented to just working with Bay Area people when I was in the Bay Area, and Detroit when I was in Detroit. But you know, the internet has opened up. You know, I've got music from people on WhatsApp in Africa. They'll just shoot me some music. You know, hey, can you listen to this? I had clients in Atlanta, Minnesota, the DMV area, Mississippi, Louisiana. You know, Cali here, Canada. So I've worked with a lot of people in different areas, and that's all been because of the internet. And also, too, it allows you to create more money because you can accept payments through things like Square and PayPal and Google Money, and you know, all that other kind of stuff, Stripe, and not to mention, one step further is the online stores. You know, selling products and services through there, and then let people pay online. So. Um, and also, too, I would definitely say another big generator for me as far as working with clients, what I've seen with their income has been eBay. I have a client who is making a very nice, substantial amount of money in the thousands per month on eBay. And they're selling used items, so it's very doable. It just takes that strategy to keep building it up.
Right, because your clientele is worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the internet, it helps your clientele be worldwide, which is a very
Definitely.
interesting thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think we've been on here about 30 minutes, something like
Yes,
that. You
we
said you
have.
were
Yes,
going
we have.
to would you be interested in doing it again?
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I know today was a little crazy for me. I do apologize. But yes, definitely, let's do it again. It would be great.
It was real crazy for me too. I mean, like I had a whole bunch of stuff planned, and then all of that kind of just it did like that.
Well, I want to
You
interview you
know,
too. I want to interview you as well. So that would be cool if we can do that maybe sometime next month if you're available.
definitely. I mean, and maybe we can get like a co-host thing going too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for
We
sure.
can work together, come up with different subject matters and stuff like that. I mean, of course, you saw my questionnaire, so I had about 15 more questions.
I said I love it. I was all studying my questions, and I love it. I love it. That's great. That is great. I definitely appreciate
Yes,
that. I appreciate
me
you.
too. I love the preparation in this, and then I think
Mhm,
I can get a lot more out of you too.
for
Uh,
sure. Yeah, because
yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
actually showing people strategy. I don't, a lot of times, people being real general, that's okay. But I think, if we had a know-how, we have to just start educating people up on it, and that'll bring you income too. A lot of times people think, oh, I need to charge and charge for everything I know. That's okay. But what happens is, it's just like with the artist putting free music on SoundCloud or whatever. If you're a good artist, even though you're sharing free music, people will eventually buy products that you put out because they're just like, wow. Like Miguel, for instance, I used to listen to Miguel, the R&B artist, years ago before he even started. Same with Drake. And then when they blew up, I was like, oh, I remember him. So I definitely wanted to go see him when he was in San Francisco and stuff like that. So yeah, free. Even though people think free doesn't help, again, free does help with your net worth in the long run because people get to know more about you. So
Yeah, well, there's an old saying with that too. The game is to be sold, not told, right? But
yeah.
I think in terms of black people, that motto kind of hurts us.
Hmm.
Pretty good. How you doing? Good to see you too. I'm somewhat of a grizzly bear. I don't
I
want to be a
know.
teddy bear.
Spreading the love, spreading the love. That's what's
if
up.
I, if I call myself a teddy bear, they be thinking I was an old Twinkie. I'm not a Twinkie. but but yeah, but I feel like I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but it's real simple. It's like if we really for the cause, I mean, I'm willing to give information away to
Mhm.
people that I know that's in need, especially like a younger person,
It's gonna use it,
because
definitely.
yeah, because like as far as like young black youth, when they go into these school systems, there's a lot of apprehension. Their teacher might not be used to dealing with a young black male, and that's just a
Right.
reality. So a lot
Hmm.
of times, like there's a lot of writers in our community,
Hmm.
but you know what those writers are doing? They're selling drugs
Hmm.
because they
Right.
know that they can make money being a
Hmm.
writer,
Hmm.
and
Right.
following that path and that creativity. So that's why a lot of this means something to me. So I totally get where you're coming from.
Definitely.
And with that, I gotta check out because I got some other stuff to
I
do.
know.
Plus my
For sure.
is getting low,
All
so we
right.
gotta set
Well,
it up. Plus it's getting a little loud in here.
of course,
And
of course. Well, definitely hit me up anytime, and like I said, I'll be glad for us to do something together. So just hit me up, and I
definitely.
appreciate you having me on today. Wait, I just want to tell everybody real quick. Check out Jameel's group, Black Spending Matters. Correct?
It's actually a friend of mine's group, Joy Tyson,
Okay.
PJ
Right.
Tyson.
And the name of the group
But
is called Black Spending Matters. Right.
and then we
So
also have
everybody, yes,
spending
go
black man.
on. Join the group on Facebook, share what you're doing, communicate with other people. So we signing off. Thank you everyone for joining us on this Friday evening, and we appreciate you.
Peace.
Peace.